Hello.
Hello.
So happy to be here. Um, my name is Megan Tucker, and I am the creator of the Interconnected Circle. Um, and with me is my friend Christine,
Hello.
and she's the creator of Grow the Soul Up. And together we are collaborating. And we wanted to just share about like what brought us together, what we're doing, why we're doing it. And we figured, um, this is the best way.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'll start and I'll talk a little bit about the interconnected circle. So I have been a circle keeper for over 10 years. I got into it because of the world of restorative justice and supporting people with brain difference and finding new and different ways of solving problems for people who struggle with problem solving. So
Mhm.
that was like how I entered into finding circle. And then once I was, facilitating circles, I just continued to learn more and more that, um, everything in life is interconnected. Uh, all of us in nature and with plants and energies. And so just the more that I delved into circle, the more I recognized that there's so many ways to view things, and there's so much we can learn from each other through sitting in a space of safety, a space of respect, kindness, love, compassion. Circle really creates the optimal environment for feeling safe. And feeling safe is how our brain functions best. And it's how we access our own wisdom. So circle brought me to this space of realizing that there's more to it, and we each know ourselves best. We each are our own expert. We're the only one who knows us.
Yeah.
Every aspect, the depths of it. And so then um, I started to recognize how, the more that I did circle, the more that I was able to access my own answers so that I could get to what's the best thing for me in my life when I'm the only one who knows me the way I know me. And also I really learned that we have to take care of ourselves. And if we don't, then we don't function well, and then we can't kind of live up to our fullest potential. And circle made me really um, recognize the need for balance in life and the need for intentional self-care, taking time for ourselves to look at um, how am I doing and how am I taking care of me so that I can be my best, so that I can share my gifts in the best way and feel good while I'm doing it.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
It helps us too.
Yeah. So that's kind of what made me really want to provide that safe space for more people, uh,
Mhm.
and to bring it to an online space where we don't have to worry about finding the place and all getting there. We can be in the safety of our own home, which increases our feeling of safety, and we can create a really beautiful environment, and then we can join other beautiful souls, and we can be seen and heard and witnessed in a way that feels like I'm not alone in
Mhm.
all of this chaos and all of this, which sometimes feels like a lot of struggle. uh,
Right.
the human experience
Yeah.
just feels like struggle sometimes. And so circle is that space where we can say, none of us are alone. We're all here going through it, having this human experience, and it's not easy most days. It's there's a lot of different challenges and a lot of um, experiences that we're all having for the first time.
Mhm.
And when you sit in circle, you suddenly see that just because I'm having it for the first time, actually there's a bunch of other people who've had this same experience. And now I feel not so alone. And now I realize, oh yeah, we really can get through it when we go to others and find out that there is other ways of doing it.
Yeah.
So circle's this magical thing where you see your own wisdom, but then you also see the wisdom in the collective, in
Yes.
the many perspectives. Uh,
Mhm.
so now it's like, okay, I see me, I'm here for me, I'm being intentional. And now also I'm in community and I see that I'm not alone and that there's other ways of being and other ways of going about it. And now I feel more equipped. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why I created the interconnected circle, because I feel like more people need to have access to circle. It's hard to find it. It's hard to
Mhm.
find where you can join a circle. And so, yeah, so I wanted to make it so that we could come together no matter where we are,
Mhm.
and we can feel safe and held in the safety of our own home. Yeah. So, and yeah, and then I used to do a lot of in-person circles, which
Mhm.
still do, but um, that's where you and I met.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so we've facilitated a lot of circles together, and sound healing, I think, is such an important aspect of
Mhm.
caring for ourselves, right? Like
Yeah.
we are energy, our
Yeah, exactly.
body, and we need our energy to flow smoothly, and we need to be able to process our emotions and have things move through us. And sometimes we can get blocked and stuck and our energy doesn't move, and sound healing is such a good way to open the flow back up, right? um,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, so yeah, Christine, why don't you tell us more about all of your beautiful adventure into growing the soul up?
Okay, so yeah, as Megan said, my business name is Grow the Soul Up. And basically, I've been taking a lot of different types of spiritual slash metaphysical healing modality courses and have practiced for many years. Um, my son, from a baby, had very horrible eczema. And so I always search for different ways. So from, herbs and essential oils to energy work, I was trying everything to try to help him. And in that process, I ended up healing myself and helping myself with all my work. And then in 2020, with the pandemic, all of a sudden we had a lot of time on our hands, and I really dove into learning about crystals and taking a lot of courses about crystals and different types of spiritual healing modalities, and the sound healing as well. And so I guess you could say I was kind of in the spiritual closet for many years. And just in the last 4 or 5 years, I really just started sharing my gifts with others and just realizing that, using all these different things have helped me. And I really want to bring that to others. And like Megan said, we met in a group circle that we had together, and I did the sound healing along with some Reiki. And Megan was our circle facilitator. So we got to know each other, and we've, gone foraging for herbs, and we really have a lot of similar interests. So that's really why I was really attracted to the idea of working with her. And yeah, I really believe that circle is very healing. Um, and because it's scheduled in, it's an intentional time to take for ourselves, almost like a date for ourselves. And I really feel like that is probably one of the best gifts you can give yourself is, a couple of hours to just relax, meditate, journal, reflect. And I feel like when we do those things, that's how we can change our lives and make ourselves stronger, better, happier, more at peace. Just find what we want out of life. And I just feel like working with you, Megan, we've seen a lot of people make big changes through the work we've, you know, uh, brought to them. And of course, everyone does their own healing work, but I think it's really nice, like I said, to have that set schedule and to meet as a group. It kind of makes you a little bit accountable too, right?
Mhm.
And the sound healing, like Megan had explained, is kind of brings some flow and um, balance to your life. So how it works is just like crystals, just like a lot of other things. The energy of those things kind of mixes with our own bodies, just to put it simply, and it helps our bodies start to resonate to the tones of the music. So that helps to align our chakras, which are energy centers in our body, so that our emotions are more balanced. We can process things more easily. And when we're dealing with that kind of stuff, that also helps our bodies to heal. So by keeping our energy centers cleared and working properly and flowing easily, that helps with physical health as well.
Mhm. Yeah, and it just
And
makes
I
you
guess I should
so
mention,
relaxed.
oh, sorry. I guess I should mention I also have a website that I sell metaphysical items. And I do one on one sessions too for Reiki, crystal healing, and sound therapy. So,
Of course, a kid comes in.
that's okay. That's life, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't matter if you tell them you're recording. Oh, wait, I have to tell you something right now. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, ADHD, lovely. I also have that, but I like to see the gifts that it brings me.
Mhm.
And so distractions are sort of like a beautiful unplanned transition, so I just go with it now. Right?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, because otherwise then I'll sit here all day thinking about what did I forget? What was I supposed to do? And no, let's just
Mhm.
go with the flow, and it's a transition.
It
Um,
seems like life is easier when we just kind of go with it, right? I mean, we can plan all we want and things change anyway. So if we're willing to just, okay, this is how it's going, right?
yeah.
It's life. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, embrace it.
Mhm.
And so,
Exactly.
yeah, I think that's a really beautiful thing about Circle too, is that we're able to reflect on ourselves and how we function in the world the way it is, and you can start to recognize like, oh yeah, my brain is different than maybe most people would expect, right? But the thing I find about Circle is we find all the other different brained people. We all go, oh yeah, yeah, my brain has a difference over here, and oh yeah, mine has one over here. And so then we start to see that like actually it's supposed to be that way. We're
Mhm.
supposed to all have those little differences in different areas, because then that's what creates this really beautiful fabric of humanity. And we just get to all be witness to that we're all unique. And it's supposed to be that way, and we're supposed to experience the world differently. And those little differences are where we'll learn. And yeah, so
I think we
like
celebrate ourselves too and our differences, and and then we start to see that sometimes having other people there, and they can show us things that we don't see about ourselves, that we can start to celebrate and to maybe work at loving, those parts of us that we might not love that other people see in us. And it's like, wow, you're really good at this, or you're a great person, or you're whatever it is, it's
Mhm.
just really nice to have that community
Yeah.
and that support.
Yeah, feeling like it's okay to be me as I
Hmm.
am, because everybody else is also showing up to the world imperfect. Uh,
Exactly.
Even though it might seem like they're better at one thing, once we really sit down, we recognize, yeah, we're all better at something. We all have gifts, and then we
Exactly.
all have different challenges, and the challenges are there so that we can go to others and learn from others.
Hmm.
And the gifts are there so we can share them with others.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it helps you to get into a mindset of um, I don't have to be mad at myself. I don't have to live in shame and guilt for what I didn't do or couldn't do, for what I lacked capacity for at certain times. We start to realize that any one of us could lack capacity at any time for numerous reasons, because
Hmm.
stresses of life actually impact our brain and the way we function, the way
Hmm.
we perceive the stresses of life
Yeah.
impacts us, right? So
As
yeah,
well as our physical bodies, right? Like we were talking about, it blocks our energy systems. It blocks everything,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So yeah, with the interconnected circle, what I really tried to do is, I've been trying to help people for a really long time, help people with brain difference mostly. That has always been where my focus is. And so what I've brought into the circles that I facilitate is all of the things that I know help,
Mhm.
because I've seen them help others and I know they help me, right? So um, I, it's like there's so many different ways to try to help ourselves. And so my brain is the type of brain that like has been looking at the science behind it all for over 20 years. Like I'm just like hyper focused on like, oh, how
Mhm.
to make the brain do that? And what do you do if you, right? Like um,
Mhm.
that's that's who I am at
Yeah.
my core. That's like the ADHD hyper focus is like, oh, the human brain, what? Tell
Yeah.
me more. Right, like, so yeah, that's the gift of me. And so that's what I want to share when I facilitate circle, is all of the years of my hyper
Mhm.
focus trying to figure out how to help people who struggle the most,
Mhm.
the people that everybody's forgotten about, the people that fall through the cracks because it looks like they should be able to, and they did it before, so why can't they do it this time?
Mhm.
Right? And that's all of us with that neurodivergence where we get burnt out easily. And yeah,
Mhm.
we did it before, but this time I can't. And now the world's mad at me and now I don't want to show up anymore.
Yeah.
Right? And so yeah, I'm trying to create safety for those of us who have that
Mhm.
who experience that, where it's like the world can be too much very easily. And
Mhm. I think
and
that's a lot of people right now. We're going through so many big changes in the world, and there's just so much going on. I don't know that there's very many people that aren't going through that,
right?
some degree or another, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's what I love about you is like you bring in your knowledge of the energies of the
Mhm.
cosmos and what's sort of pushing all of us in a certain
Mhm.
direction. And that like those that the guiding us around the energy helps us to not feel crazy. As soon as
Yeah.
as soon as you say like, oh, it's Mercury retrograde, we're all like, oh, that explains it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I feel like following the movement of the planets and the moon, like you said, it helps just to know what's going on, and sometimes even to help set the tone for what's the right time to do things. Like, um, just, the right time to just sit and reflect, or the right time to go after what you want, or, and a person usually feels it. Well, like everyone's walking around, and it seems like a lot of people are feeling the same energies when you start to pay attention. Um, so, like let's say the full moon brings out a lot of crazy energy, right? So it's really true that the movement of the planets and the moon, it really affects us. So knowing about that stuff can really help to just give us a little bit of a, okay, this week might be a little bit tougher, and maybe, it's the energies are kind of about fighting or something, let's just say. Okay, well, that if someone like gets angry, that might just be because the energies, everything kind of gets uplifted and a little bit stronger. So maybe you knowing that can take a deep breath and step back and just be like, okay, I'm just going to let this go for now, right? And with it at a more appropriate time, or however it comes up in our
Mhm.
lives.
Yeah, yeah, like recognizing what is putting us to our full capacity,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that, I think there's a lot of us who are sensitive, and
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to explain when you're not a sensitive person, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm a sensitive person. I'm sensitive to a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sensitive to foods.
Yep.
Different foods can really affect me. I'm sensitive to pharmaceuticals, like I just can't. So I'm entirely herbal. And
Mm-hmm.
even with herbs, I still have to microdose, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm very sensitive. And I'm also sensitive to energy. And, right? It's
Of
like
course. Yeah.
and I think there's a lot of us like that who
Mm-hmm.
sensitive, we don't necessarily understand it. We don't know why. It feels like the world can be too much a lot of the time
Mm-hmm.
because there's so many different things at play, so many variables in the things that are unseen but we're feeling,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Exactly. And I think like how we're doing our meetings and our circles is great, because it's like, I don't know, it helps us like to process all that, right?
Mhm.
And like I said, when we start talking about the moon energies, and even knowing the right time to release or to set proper intentions to start manifesting, right? Like those are good things that a person wants to know, and to maybe, let that help your life out a little bit.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of the time, like for me, years before, I was sensitive, didn't understand it, and
Mm,
so then you could just be totally off,
yep.
um, because you can't understand all the things that are giving you the push and the pull, and then it can feel chaotic, right? If
Exactly.
you
And
don't
then
know
you
what.
just feel like you're going crazy, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and so that's the beautiful thing about our circles is that
Mhm.
sensitive souls can come they're going to start to learn and hear from each of us that, oh yeah, oh, that's what's happening to me, oh, that
Yeah.
makes sense, right? And
Yeah. And
I,
different little ways of healing ourselves and helping us go through those moments, right? I think
yeah.
that's the most important, is we can learn from each other, learn from, the group, on different ways, using breath techniques,
Mhm.
with your brain gym, just different movements and stuff like that. That all that stuff is really tools that we're teaching to help
Mhm.
everybody get through life.
Yeah, yeah, because like if you there's so many things that we don't get taught, right?
Mhm.
Especially about like regulating our nervous system, understanding our energy, our chakras, if we're
Yeah.
blocked, right? Like that, it doesn't get taught. You really have to go seeking to learn
Yeah.
that. And for me, it's like once I learned all of it, it all made sense, right?
Hmm.
I was feeling it, but didn't have words for it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, because there's like a lot of the world that really goes towards Western medicine and the ways of Western medicine.
Hmm.
Um, and like there's room for all of it. There's space for all of it. It all exists for a reason. I think Western medicine just misses the mark a lot, especially
Yeah.
on prevention.
Yeah.
Um, and also learning to understand what is the source of our symptoms and how do we actually go to the source
Hmm.
so that we can not just make the symptoms stop, but make our body actually function properly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, and understanding energy and understanding the importance of our movements and our
Hmm.
breath, like you said, Western medicine doesn't teach us that.
Yeah.
Western education systems don't teach us that. Um, so yes, you have to kind of go seeking to figure out that the way to help yourself when you have a sensitive body
Yeah.
is through like learning a lot of different practices, things that are done in like Eastern traditions, uh,
Hmm.
and but also just understanding like the old ways, the,
Yes,
the
exactly.
old ways of many cultures, looking back to the people of the land.
And
Uh,
that's how I feel like with, Western medicine and everything, I feel like, the lack of doctors, the lack of, being able to see a doctor takes a long time to be able to get tests or whatever. I'm really feeling like we almost don't have a choice. We really do need to start taking care of our bodies
yeah,
and, see how long we can last because it just feels like if you don't know what's wrong with you, it's really hard, right? Like, and if we can do anything we can to not put more chemicals into our body, I'm not saying that we should stop going to see the doctor. I would never say that, but I just feel like there's a lot of things we can do for ourselves to help ourselves.
yeah, yeah. There is actually because I've had to go on that journey.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone on the journey where, they had me so over medicated on painkillers. The whites of my eyes were turning yellow.
Mm-hmm.
My body couldn't function from their over medication. And
Yeah.
so I had to find another way
Mm-hmm.
because their only answer was take more Tylenol and Advil, just back to back it, and it's like all day, every day that's not sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't have any other answers because they don't
Yeah.
know how to find the source. And so that's part of how I've come to this place of
Mm-hmm.
understanding the interconnectedness of all of it, is that I had to go on a pretty long and heavy healing journey for my physical body.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there's that's why interconnectedness is like the name that I always go back to, because we are holistic beings
Mm-hmm.
and all of our systems are interconnected. The way we eat, the way we move, the way we breathe, it all plays a part in how our body functions, how our brain functions, and even in how our energy flows. We need movement, we
Mm-hmm.
need breath, we need good posture. And we're just not, like, we're so busy and stressed in such a chaotic society that we aren't learning these things, and we aren't taking time for these things. And I see that because I've talked to so many people who the answers were actually really simple, but they didn't know them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and we can't know what we don't know. And so that's the beautiful thing about circles. When we come together as a collective, we're able to share all of those intimate learning journeys that each of us has had. We've all gone on a different journey of figuring different aspects of life out, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think you and I combined all our years of, classes and experience and everything. We're able to take all that knowledge that we have and share it with the group. So that to me is really quite valuable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because there's just so many things
Mm-hmm.
um, that we've hyper focused on because that's how we've utilized the gifts of our brain. And yeah, I'm very aware that most people don't um, go that hard.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
you know what? We're not all supposed to. And so I feel like that's kind of what led you and I to this space of, oh yeah, people keep telling us we're good teachers. People keep telling us that we should share these gifts because we dive and we go deep and we're like, oh, more. and
Exactly. Yes.
and I think the purpose behind that was because we were meant to share it, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, because I remember what it's like to have stage fright and not have my voice not be able to come out.
Yes. Me
Um,
too. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't have that anymore because I've
Mhm.
spent so many years sharing about the things that work, the things I'm passionate about, and I recognize that I've become um, good at sharing that. And so
Mhm.
yeah, so that's why I wanted to, carry on in a new way, not just with circles, but also with you and I, like recording a podcast, is because yeah, we've done a lot of great learning, and
Mhm.
it's worth sharing.
So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's hard to give it a label or a name. The best thing I can come up with is the interconnectedness of it all. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, because we are in that space of recognizing the holisticness of being human, and that space of recognizing that like it's all spiritual.
Yeah.
Like we are souls having a human journey.
Mhm.
And it's actually like there's so much going on in our world. It's hard for most of us to figure out what's what and where's the priority.
Mhm.
And it's hard for a lot of us to find spirituality or to um, figure out how best to connect with the divine and like what are we doing here. you
Mhm.
know
Yes,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah, and so I just feel like when we share in circle, we're sharing like soul to soul, like
Mhm.
because we're bearing all. We're in that space of, okay, if we're going to create ultimate safety so that we can really access our whole brain and our whole wisdom, our
Mhm.
intuition, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're doing. We're
Mhm.
fostering our intuition to be able to access our wisdom and the wholeness of all of it, right? Um, yeah, circle is a sacred space. It's the space where we connect with our own divinity.
Mhm.
We recognize this is how I connect. The way I take care of the gift of this physical body is
Mhm.
part of this spiritual journey, to say that like, okay, so if my soul chose this, I need to take care of it well enough to access my full potential.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, how do I best take care of myself? Well, actually, if I sit in a safe space and get intentional about it, I'll find my own answers and I'll start to
Yes.
put those into my life, right? So,
Mhm.
Circle creates the space where we decide what's best for us individually, but we're doing it as a collective, which I think is really beautiful, right? To say all together at the same time, oh my gosh, we are all these sacred beings And I'm so glad we took this time for ourselves because we wouldn't have seen it otherwise.
Exactly.
We wouldn't have seen the gift that is us if we didn't take the time to
Mhm.
get to safety, because like daily life gets us so stressed out, so like just surviving sometimes, and then we're not in that space of recognizing, oh yeah, I'm a soul in a human body, what am I doing here?
Exactly.
What's the purpose?
Exactly.
Yeah, we get caught
It's-
up in the grind.
Yeah, we do. So
Yeah,
we kind of explain what our focus is going to be for our next circles?
yeah, yeah, I think that's a great next step. Let's go with the flow. So why don't you tell us about November 5th and our full moon?
Okay, so November 5th is a full moon in Taurus. Taurus is a money, like a money sign. They're very stable, grounded. So, you could set some intentions about money, but it's also really good times, not just about setting intentions, not about just receiving or releasing, but like journaling. And actually, that's kind of what made me really like following the moon cycles. It wasn't even just about, doing all the manifestation and releasing things, which I do like that part too, but just that time of, oh, it's the full moon. Like, okay, I'm going to sit and reflect and kind of think about where I'm at, where I want to be. So, and then you're just all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is really holding me back. Or, I really want this. I really got to go for this, and just to me, manifestation, it's not like saying, okay, I want a giant mansion and it's just going to appear, you know. Manifestation is, to me, setting the intentions, setting our thoughts to something, taking those steps to get to where we want to be. But I feel like when you're setting those intentions, maybe if you do any kind of rituals or anything like that, or ceremonies, um, it just really makes us bring focus to that. And I really feel like when you start to raise your vibrations, you start attracting the things that you really want into your life. It's kind of like, the whole when things go bad, they keep going bad. Well, if it's that way, it can also be the other way, where when you start to vibrate at higher levels, things just start to roll and start going well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, in that, like, it matches brain science also,
Mm-hmm.
right? In that what we think about builds
Mm-hmm.
stronger pathways. The more we think about it, the better we access that pathway. So yeah, it's when you get intentional about seeing the good, and then get intentional about noticing what's good and having
Mm-hmm.
gratitude for all the good in your life, then your brain is wired to that, and then you're looking for it, and then you see new gifts pop up all the time, and
Yeah.
then you end up feeling more abundant. You feel like
Mm-hmm.
I'm so lucky, and so then yeah, you carry that vibration.
Yeah, and I think gratitude is a big part of that. And I've been in places in my life where a lot of people would think that I had absolutely nothing, but and I did too, until I stopped and thought about all the wonderful things I had in my life and how lucky I really was.
Mhm.
And I think when you start to really, sometimes you have to search when
Mhm.
things are really bad. You have to find it. But I feel like when you start focusing on those things, all of a sudden seeing the good, it's just automatic. And you just all of a sudden start feeling better, right? And things start going better because you have gratitude, and gratitude makes us feel happy. It makes
Mhm.
us feel great, right? So
Yep.
then you're lifting your vibrations just by being happy and having gratitude for the little things.
Mhm. Yep. It's magic. That's
It
magic, actually.
is. It literally can pull a person out of depression, which is what I did for myself.
Hmm. Yeah, being intentional about how our brain sees things, our
Mhm.
perception, it's actually really powerful,
Very.
and it takes practice. And so
Mhm.
this is why like I keep having circle, because you don't
Yes.
just go to one circle and go, oh, I'm healed now, I see the world differently and I don't need anything for the rest of my life. No, it's like it's a continued journey. We're always having things come at us all the time. And so circle is that space to like pause, reflect, take that intentional moment of self-care to say, okay, how am I doing?
Yeah.
And how is it going, right? Um, so yeah, that's it's powerful when we recognize the benefits and the need for it to be part
Mhm.
of our life, this intentional self-reflection, right? And the beautiful thing is it doesn't have to be daily. And
Yeah.
that's the thing I like about following the moon cycles too, is that we can go back to the busyness of daily life, but like if we pause just a few times a month to look
Mhm.
at where, right? The new moon, the full moon, okay, right? Um that just that is powerful because we're taking that moment to check in with ourselves. We can regulate our nervous system, really start to feel like, oh, yeah, I was getting busy and caught up. And the more that we do that, the more we recognize, oh, maybe I should do that a little bit more.
Well, and also I feel like, even though you're doing it a couple times a month, you kind of start to reflect all the time just because it's become such a practice that you start to become more mindful
Mhm,
daily.
mhm,
And you don't necessarily have to be, stop and sit and close your eyes and all that stuff to meditate. I've just started using things like, washing the dishes, as sometimes that's my meditation time, but
mhm,
I'm able to clear my mind and relax and, just keep going.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually the thing. So, the longer that you do circle or join in a circle, the more you bring your own awareness to yourself, right? Like you start to really notice the way your thoughts go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like when you take those intentional moments a few times a month to sit in circle, you're like noticing, oh yeah, how do I speak to myself?
Mm-hmm.
And so then now the next day you're not in circle, but you're like, oh, I just caught myself not speaking well. And I'm going to intentionally change that now. Right.
Yeah.
And so then you start to like insert the things that we talked about in circle. So then you want to go back to circle and kind of reflect on like, oh my gosh, yeah, I have been catching myself and you would not believe how bad my brain was.
Mhm.
Like,
Exactly.
yeah. And like that's so empowering to
Mm-hmm.
start to recognize how much power we actually have over ourselves by some really small, simple daily things
Mm-hmm.
that it's like a split second of your time, but it could change everything because you're changing your own mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you change your perception on the way you see the world, um, the way you see the world will change immensely.
Exactly, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, I think it's quite a beautiful thing to kind of open us up to new ways of seeing and new ways of being and new ways of experiencing the world. Um, yeah, so that's sort of what our moon circles are about in a ADHD nutshell.
Yeah.
um yeah, like that's what we're doing. We're reflecting, we're taking a moment of pause, we're breathing, we're stretching. Like we're going to do that in our 2-hour circle. We're going to have a sound bath, and yeah, we're checking in with ourselves in safety, um,
Mm-hmm.
and recognizing how to put ceremony into our lives on a regular basis, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So once we start to recognize that we are sacred, we are the connection, our connection to divinity, right?
Mhm.
Like when we sit with ourselves and recognize that caring for ourselves is a really important part of like how we show up here, yeah, you start to see that like spirituality is even bigger than we may have thought, right? Like a lot of people think it just means going to church, but like, oh my gosh, no, like, yeah, take a moment, think about your own sacredness, think about how you can bring that into your life, into your home, to
Mhm.
recognize like, I am the carrier of sacredness. That
Mhm.
can't be just at church. That is right? Like,
Yeah. I
you
think
know,
it's a
there's
life. It's a life that we choose to live. And I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm sure you're not perfect, Megan, although you seem to be. But,
no,
you
no.
know, like, I just feel like um, we're not, like, there's a lot of times I catch myself and I'm like, ooh, that
Mhm,
is not very spiritual, Christine. But that's the thing. I'm stopping myself now. I'm recognizing maybe sometimes it's triggers, you
mhm,
know, sometimes it's just bad habits, I think, you
mhm.
know, past habits.
Yep.
But just knowing that that's okay. You know, we are human.
Mhm,
We're not perfect, but I think being able to see yourself, you know, from another point of view, maybe even, right? Like not even just the way you see, oh, I'm so perfect. No, like sometimes you have to look at like from another point of view and then be like, well, is that how I really want to be? Right. And
mhm,
it's choosing, well, if that's how you want to be, then keep being that way. But I feel like there's things that I've, you know, caught myself doing, and I'm like, that's not how I am right now. That's not me. Right. I
mhm.
don't want to be like that. So it's just growing, it's helping us grow
Yeah.
and just enjoying
Growing the
life the
soul up,
best.
maybe?
Yeah, exactly.
Feel like that's what we're doing?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So
Through
how can they
understanding.
contact? How can they join us, Megan?
Yeah, so currently we have a Facebook page, The Interconnected Circle. There's also a Patreon page, The Interconnected Circle. And so yeah, so you can join through Patreon in the membership section. That's how we're doing it right now. This series, we're doing 2 circles in November, 2 in December. And so yeah, there's it's the Moonlit Reflection Series in Patreon. And did you also put it on your website too? Is there a
I
link?
did not yet put the link on my website because my website is quite new and I'm still working on it.
That's fine. Just
I
checking.
do, they should check it though, because I will be putting some links and stuff like that on my website, which is www.growthesoulup.com. And I also have a Facebook page, same, the Grow the Soul Up. And yeah, like if there's ever any questions, there's a contact. You can contact me on there also. So if you can't find anything of Megan's, I can always find the link, send it to you, whatever. But I'd be excited if we had more people join us, Megan. I'm sure you would be too.
Yeah.
It is nice to have, you know, the smaller groups that we do have, but it's, I think whoever is meant to be there will be there. And like you said, it's such a safe space that maybe it's not meant for everybody.
Yeah, you
So
know, a lot of people are like they'll say to me like, "What? I don't know what circle is. I don't know what you're talking about. This doesn't make sense to me." Right? And yeah, valid. It's not a common thing. And my understanding of circle has grown and developed over the time that I've been facilitating.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first learned circle facilitation, I used it just for training,
Mm-hmm.
like I just watched the magic of circle and it just blew my mind. So just like doing training in a circle changed the way I did training so much, and it made me see how people were interpreting what I was saying because I got the feedback from each of them. And it's wild how people can interpret you so differently, and so you want to hear their interpretation from time to time. So
Yeah.
I used to do these like full day trainings where I'd cram in so much information.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had people who would come to my trainings over and over and they'd say, "Oh, I learned something new every time." And I kind of was like, yeah, it's probably because I give you so much information you can't possibly remember it all. That's why. And so then I really started reflecting on that like if they're not remembering it all, why am I saying it all? And so then I started doing shorter where it was like I didn't give as much information, but I did it in circle and we got like their interpretation and the learning deepened like you
Yeah.
wouldn't believe. People retained so much more and it just felt like way more valuable, to be in it together, right? And so, yeah, so circle is a lot of things, but it's basically in this space of understanding that we're all equal.
Exactly.
We're all humans having this human experience. None of us know what we're doing when we get here, and we're following the people who came before us. And then we get to adulthood and we realize, oh my God, did they even know? The people I've been following seem to not know.
Right?
Right? And so that's
I
what
thought I
happens
was
to all
supposed
of
to know
us.
everything by this age.
It
Right?
happens to all of us. We get to this age where we're like, oh my God, we were believing them. They don't even know.
Yeah.
So actually, circle brings us to the space of, okay, so if we just say we're all doing our best and none of us really know, and we're all meant to be here and nobody's better than anyone, that space is where we come together and we share and we learn and we grow because we recognize that we can learn from others when we approach it with that equality lens. That like, even if you're different than me, even if you've had a different experience from me, I can still learn from you. And that's the power of circle, is getting to a space where we recognize our shared humanity and that nobody really knows. Right? There's a lot of people who think they know and they will tell you there is one way and this is the only way. And I'm like, actually, there's like how many billions of people doing it all differently. So
Yeah.
there isn't just one way. And so the beauty of circle is the space of recognizing that we can learn from absolutely everyone. Um, and it'll enrich your life to open your mind to learn from someone who's walked a different path. So yeah, so that's what we're doing in a nutshell.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly why we have to have a podcast, because that's just the introduction.
Exactly. We have a lot to teach.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot to talk about. So
Yeah. So join us on this beautiful, whimsical, magical journey of interconnectedness, recognizing our shared humanity, and that we all are souls on a human journey. And yeah, so like sometimes when you view it that way, like, oh, like it's like if you could view it from a, like, if I'm a scientist or an anthropologist viewing another people, it's like, Oh, okay. Now this is interesting. And now I don't have to be mad at somebody for doing it different because,
Mm-hmm.
like, if you could just be intrigued by, oh, like, why are they doing it that way? That's
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Instead of, like, why are they doing it that way?
Mm-hmm.
Just that little shift in perception could make us, like, love our neighbor a lot more
Mm-hmm.
and not be constantly divided and angry at everybody.
Yeah.
Just see that, like, there's room for all of it.
Mm-hmm.
We're all valuable. We're all sacred. Um, and we've all had different types of life lessons,
Mm-hmm.
some of them harder than others,
Mm-hmm.
some of them perceived harder than others,
Yes.
depending on, you know,
Mm-hmm.
all the variables. But yeah, so I encourage people to come check out our circles, because we're probably the most like accepting and caring people that I've ever met.
And we have fun.
Yeah, yeah, and we're
You
fun.
know, we're serious but have fun.
Yeah,
we
we're
get,
like,
we get
we
things
are
done.
sacred. This is important. Let's laugh about it.
Right? And it helps.
Yeah, actually. Like there's like silliness in all of
Mhm.
it, right? Like uh and that's sacred too.
Yeah, I think a little inner child healing kind of, right?
Yeah. Yeah, to be able to not take it all so seriously.
Mhm.
Yeah. 'Cause like none of us are getting out alive, so I don't know. Why it has to be
I feel like sometimes you just, life's so crazy, you just gotta laugh because it's like, what else are you gonna do?
Mhm,
It's kind of a sense of release and like,
mhm.
well, this is what it is. Okay, let's figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Laughter will help you not get pulled to the depths.
Hmm.
'Cause our brains, they are powerful at following the spiral, whether
Hmm.
it be negative or positive.
Hmm.
Um, and so, yeah, just always try to make the spiral positive because your brain is really good at just following what you start.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah. So that's probably a good place to end, I'd say. One of these days we'll make like an intro song and a closing. Do you want to do a closing with your bowls? Let's do that.
Oh, I don't have them set up,
Oh.
Megan. I'm sorry.
You got a little.
um,
No, okay, that's fine.
I
Next time.
should. I should really have it like attached to me.
I know. I kind of thought that it would be.
Next time.
Next time. Yeah, because you got to start somewhere. Yeah. So we're
Now
starting.
everyone knows who we are and what we're all about.
Mhm. Mhm. And if they stayed this long, they should
Excuse
probably
me.
get a prize, but I don't have any prizes. But
I think the prize is coming to join us.
yeah,
Prize
actually.
to themselves. That's kind of the whole point.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Are we ready to say goodbye to our listeners?
I think so. I think we drug them along long enough.
All right. Thanks for holding on, everyone.
Yeah, you're wonderful.